Hey folks, welcome back to my Minecraft survival world. In October of 2020, I decided to start a new Minecraft world and a new YouTube Let's Play survival series. My previous series ran 40 episodes in another world, but my plans were just too big and too epic to be completed by someone who also works full-time to make that green. So with this new series, I decided that I wanted to focus on small, detailed builds. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of the base I built here at my spawn point. It's a small town in a taiga biome, which I call Taiga Town. We're going to go around and take another look at all my builds, this time with better shaders. And then we're going to do one final build before the end. If you enjoy touring my base and my final build, please click the like button and help me show this to more viewers on YouTube. We're starting here, the way any new arrival at Taiga Town would, at the medieval cargo and passenger ship I built in the last episode. I designed this ship myself with inspiration from several other YouTubers. The ship is docked here, so the sails are all folded up, and there's two crow's nests, both of them with great views. The poop deck features an oak trapdoor as a steering wheel and a compass embedded on a hidden item frame just to look like nautical equipment. The captain's quarters are underneath the poop deck, and on his desk is a map of the area where we're going to be building today. This trapdoor behind the main mast lets you climb down to the crew quarters. There are beds on both sides. Here is the captain's mess, and here is the senior officers or passengers' quarters, whichever you prefer to imagine. And down here is the cargo hold. The ship is docked next to this large warehouse I built. I imagine all of the cargo being carried off the ship and stored here. This design was inspired by some 3D model images I found online. The lower level is full of double chests for storage. I imagine travelers from afar renting these chests to store their belongings in while they stay in shop in Taiga Town. However, I have been using these to store goods from the piglin bartering farm in the Nether. I bring my full shulker boxes back here and unload them. Upstairs can be reached by one of 4 ladders. And up here I have stacks of items and storage containers, purely for aesthetics. I really like this winch arm I designed on the fly. It looks like a pallet of goods is being pulled up and into the storehouse. There's also a balcony overlooking the courtyard below. Next to the warehouse, I built this little row of private storage units. I'm imagining a company or a group could rent one of these to fill with their own goods. 2 are closed and 1 is open, as if the owner is currently here rummaging around in it. I filled this chest and this barrel with excess bones from my mob farm. In fact, wherever you see random storage containers lying around the town, you can bet I've stored overflow items in them. Here's a chest full of arrows and a barrel full of gunpowder. I added a little flower garden and a fountain to this area after the warehouse episode, just to make this area a little bit more welcoming. Up these lovely stone steps here is my horse stables. There's also a quick tutorial video on my channel that shows you block by block how to build this. 2 horses can be housed here, but for now I only have Chestnut here. Chestnut was named by someone who commented on my video, so it's important to post your comments on my builds and contribute to my series. I've ridden Chestnut through town and over to a mine shaft I found in a ravine a couple hundred blocks to the northwest of here. To take care of Chestnut, I keep a lead handy here, but I also store them in this barrel at the bottom of this column. I've collected most of these by killing wandering traders and their llamas. Back here I have saddles and horse armor of all different kinds, and up the ladder I have another storage room. In the middle of the road here, I built a cart, and the horse here is named Bill. Chestnut's speed is okay, but Bill is slow and he doesn't jump very high at all, so guess what? He gets to pull the cart. Again, I've got random mob farm overflow items tucked in all these chests laying around. Behind Bill is my project board. I posted all my build ideas here and then took them down when completed. There should only be 1 job left, so let's take these 2 off. That's better. Only one job left. This house is the first structure I built here in the first episode of the series. This was adapted from an original design by the legendary Minecraft YouTuber Mythical Sausage. And this house has served me very well. His design featured blackstone used in the tower and in the rooftop over there. But because I built this so early in my world, I went with diorite and my custom brick diorite texture. I also expanded the upper level and made it overhang this wood pile. This axe looks like it's embedded in the stump because I'm using the Armour Statues Datapack, which allows you to pose armor stands and also hide them. So there's a hidden armor stand holding this axe, which I've positioned here so that this axe looks stuck in a stump. The ground level interior matches the design of the original house by Mythical Sausage pretty closely. This kitchen is full of food storage, and there's a blast furnace and a smoker built into the wall. Ooh, pork chops. There's also several furnaces built into the floor around this room, so I can split items between them and cook things up fast. This barrel in the corner is full of coal. I was planning to build an automatic kelp farm with an attached smelter like I built in my first series, but the fact is I've had an overabundance of coal the whole time I've been playing in this world, so I canceled this project. I tamed this wolf while I was lumberjacking to gather wood for building my ship, and I haven't had a chance to name him yet. Whenever I go out lumberjacking or exploring, I take him with me. If you can think of a name for my little wolf friend here, please post it down in the comments. The kitchen has both a front door and a back door, and the back door goes out to this little garden that I built. I wanted it to look like I was experimenting with growing different kinds of crops and flowers here. I tried to build a natural looking little stair here with like grass and different types of path blocks and dirt blocks and wood blocks, all the way from the garden down to the water level, connecting to this little fishing dock here. This chest contains my fishing rods, most of which I fished out of the water and combined their enchantments to make better rods. I also use this chest to store tropical fish buckets I bought from wandering traders. I have actually spent quite a bit of time actually fishing off this dock, ending most of my Minecraft days here while the sun goes down or just relaxing when I didn't feel like doing any other work. I placed this lower slab just over the water to make parking a boat here easier. You can drive the boat right up to the dock and stop. However, because it's a half slab, getting out of the boat doesn't pop you onto the dock. You wind up standing on the boat. Boats still need work in Minecraft, in my opinion. Back inside and through this door is my enchanting room. And this is how I got my first enchantments on my equipment. I'm proud to say that even though I've died 17 times in this world, I've never lost all of my equipment. So most of these pieces still bear my original enchantments, all except this sword and helmet and this bow, I think. Up here I've stored a bunch of books and lapis for enchanting, and over here are a bunch of random books I enchanted while trying to get better enchantments on my equipment. The rest of these I fished out of the ocean. This is my storage and crafting room. I started to outgrow this storage late in my series, so that's why I started adding more storage everywhere in Taiga Town. I used trapdoors to texture the floor above me, and that provided the opportunity to add a ladder here so that I could get to the upper level easier without having to go outside. This is my potion brewing area. I brewed all the potions up here, and I have supplies to brew plenty more. Over here is my nether wart farm. I have 3 barrels as cabinets to store it in, but I never filled up the first one. That's how little brewing I do. Over here is an infinite water source for filling bottles. This is a crucial feature in any brewing room, I'd say. It's really just 3 stairs placed facing the wall, with the outer 2 placed facing sideways so that they curve inward. Up this ladder is my bedroom, and I've slept here about half as much as I have on the bed I always carry around with me. I have some random stuff and backup equipment in these barrels. Lifetime supply of emeralds here. And this is my collection of dropped mob heads. I have the More Mob Heads data pack installed. This door leads out of my bedroom suite and into the living room. And these are my 3 kitties. Cats started randomly appearing around this area after I created my villager breeder, so I tamed a couple of them. This is Snickers, and this is Jack. Jack is named after the real-life cat of one of my friends, and he even looks like the real-life Jack. This is my real-life cat, Dita. Notice that this isn't the normal white cat texture. The normal white cat texture has a yellow eye and a green eye, and I changed the eye color of this texture to match my real cat's blue and green eyes. I added this texture to my resource pack along with a script that uses mob names to specify certain custom textures with Optifine, so all I had to do was name this cat Dita with a name tag, and it changed her texture. Meanwhile, regular white cats still appear randomly around my base with the normal yellow-green eye color or whatever. Above my couch here is a map of my base. It takes just over 4 maps to depict the whole thing. Unfortunately, I don't think it's not updated, so let's take this out of here and put it back. Yeah, now my ship is there. Just past my living room entertainment system here is the door to the tower. At the bottom here is where I used to store my redstone, and I still store my carts and my rails here. At the top of this ladder is my writing room. Inside this chest are my journals. These are the voiceover scripts I wrote when I was creating cinematic openings for the early episodes in this series. Now we're going to go downhill to the north here, and this little shack on the right is where I store all of the items dropped by mobs in my mob farm. This is Nembon's mob farm design down here, and I built it on a couple of live streams over on my Twitch channel. I think I built this between episodes 4 and 5 of this series. This mob farm works so well that these storage chests have overflowed several times each, and when they do, I relocate the items all around town. Not the string, obviously. We're still doing okay on gunpowder for now, but yeah, I relocated gunpowder a couple of times. Especially the arrows and bones. I've had to relocate those a couple of times, and it's good to have those in a variety of places all over the place. Next to my mob farm is my flower shop. There was a strange hill that was here that was hard to build on, and that's why it's raised up on these mixed stone stairs. I originally wanted to put the tavern in here, but it was too small, so I designed this instead. I still think this is one of my cutest builds ever. I love the crimson stem roof and the dark oak border and this brick texture on the walls. It really just kind of stands out apart from all the other builds in town. Inside we have a counter, like with, you know, shears like in the back there, and various other flowers for like florists to come and create like a bouquet if you wanted. And right here are rapid fire redstone dye generators for each of the 2 tall flower types. However, I never found any sunflowers in my world. Maybe I will someday. Up the ladder is a little hothouse for growing flowers, and a balcony overlooking the counter. At the bottom of the stairs below the flower shop, you may have noticed this trapdoor, or maybe you didn't. It's kind of hidden, and it's kind of supposed to be. Down here are my farms. I prefer to build my farms underground in most cases. Here is my cactus farm, which I built during episode 11. Although it's small and doesn't output much cactus. I don't use much cactus, obviously, so this is the perfect choice for a single-player survival world. Next to it is a ladder down to the branch mines that I dug. I dug out most of this off-camera while filming my first episode. I got my first diamonds and iron and gold and redstone and lapis down here. Back up the ladder, if we go down past the cactus farm and to the left, we find my villager breeder. I built this using a tutorial video by Logical Geek Boy. These are the first 2 villagers, who originally appeared in Taiga Town as zombies that I had to quarantine and bring back to life. Once I had these 2, I bred up all the villagers in Taiga Town. The breeder is currently off, and this is all the villagers that are left. This is my villager conversion station. To give myself discount prices on everything, I use this to convert all the villagers to zombies and back. The minecart carries the villager over to the first stop here where they are munched on by a zombie. Of course, the zombie is looking at me and not the villager, so I have to move away until the zombie starts hitting the villager, just like that. Because I'm in hard mode, they get converted to zombies 100% of the time. Then we push this button and move them on to step 2, where we press this button to shower them with a weakness potion. And then I would feed them a golden apple. Then we move this zombie to the third stage and wait 3 or 5 minutes until they convert back. Then we could put a workstation right here on this block to give them a profession and trade with them. And then I could stick shulker boxes full of trade goods over here. When we find out if the villager has good trades or not, we can flip this switch to change the cart there on the block over there, as you can see. And we can either send them on down the line, which currently goes to a dead end, or we can send them to a quick burning death over there. There's even a little back room here with a minecart reclamation system. You know, it's pretty brutal, but it's pretty efficient. If we hop over the cart tracks here, you'll see the storage of my iron farm, which is over here. This is also a design by Logical Geek Boy. It's pretty difficult to see, but these villagers, when they see the zombie bouncing up and down there, they spawn a golem on the platform above them, which floats over to this lava block here and gradually dies and then drops a whole bunch of iron and posies, and those are collected in this water system that's flowing past here. We need to turn this off. My iron farm storage is full, completely full, except for these posies. This is another resource that I should probably relocate to random storage boxes around town. Over here, I actually am filtering out the posies and composting them in order to store up a whole bunch of bone meal down here. Across the street from the flower shop is my farm. I built these fields and farmed them by hand for more than half my series, and now I have several barrels of crops stored around town. At the top of the hill is my animal farm. I like this compact little barn so much that I also created a tutorial video that shows how to build it, and that video is one of the most popular on my channel. There's a pig pen on the left side and a chicken coop on the right. There's an egg farm below here that's been full for months. Inside I've got cows and sheep here. For purely aesthetic purposes, my real cow farm is below this trapdoor, and all the beef and leather these cows drop when I feed them is stored in this barrel. At the back of the lower level are a couple of automatic composters. You just put the extra crops or seeds up in the top barrels, and down below, bone meal is stored. I store crops in these barrels down the middle. Up the ladder is a barn loft with more storage that I don't use. Behind the barn, if I run along this ledge here to the north, you'll spot a couple of torches up on the hill there. That's where my zombie XP grinder is. I discovered this zombie spawner while mining in the early days of this world, and I converted it into my early XP grinder to help me get my enchantments. It's the worst XP source in my world, but it did help me in the early stages. And yes, I did texture this ladder chute. There's an opening here which goes to a dungeon with a spider spawner. I took out most of the mossy cobblestone in here, and I considered turning this into another XP grinder or trying to combine it with the zombie grinder somehow down below, but I had so many other plans for this world already that I didn't want to get bogged down with building spawner grinders. Here is the killing chamber, and by standing about here, we are in range of the spawner, which is on the other side of that wall. So all we have to do is wait for zombies to come down the chute. The slab right here prevents baby zombies from getting out, and the trapdoor keeps us a safe distance away. They should be low HP by the time they land here, and we can one-hit them. It's pretty slow. Next to my animal farm is my real wool farm. These 5 sheep up here are automatically sheared every time they eat the grass blocks below them. I have 3 white sheep, a brown sheep, and a green sheep in this one farm. I figured if I needed any other color of wool, I could just dye it, and I wasn't wrong. I use brown and green carpets to hide jack-o'-lanterns in the ground wherever I need to light things up and reduce spawns, so that's why I decided to put brown and green sheep in my wool farm. The path from the wool farm leads south underneath this like little cartport or drive-through, and underneath the Farmers Guild. One of the main concepts of Taiga Town is that the villagers have built a thriving economy by farming and trading goods. I used this background story to design and build 4 villager trading halls here. We have the Farmers Guild, the Knowledge Guild for librarians, and the Blacksmiths Guild. Just down the road there is the Masons Guild. Those are the major guilds, the ones that have buildings, all surrounding an open marketplace that allows me to trade with villager professions that trade items that aren't quite as desirable or useful, such as a leather worker, a shepherd, a fisherman here, a butcher, a cartographer, and a Fletcher. Having these guys out in the open has proven a little risky because these are my spawn chunks and they don't unload when I travel to the Nether or elsewhere, and so when it becomes night here while I'm away, zombies can spawn. Sometimes I've come back here and I've found the cartographer or the shepherd turned into a zombie. Luckily I got back before they despawned and I was able to rescue them again. That situation hasn't occurred in a while, since I did a better job of building up and lighting the surrounding area. I decided that certain professions would have guilds here because their trades are more useful and I would want several of that profession handy to trade with, so the guilds are really trading halls for certain professions. This little patio right here represents my actual spawn point. This is where I came to in the world, and if I die without a bed or a sleeping point or another spawn point in the world, this is where I return to. I literally spawned right here facing south, just like this. Just like this. The first guild I built is the Farmers Guild. The video where I built this is the second most popular in my series. You guys have been requesting a block by block tutorial and I do aim to give you one, so please subscribe and activate notifications for my channel so that you can see when those videos go live. This design is inspired by an actual medieval guild hall in London, which I found on Google Images. So these front shutter doors don't open, but I do try to imagine that they might if the Farmers Guild wanted to ship or receive goods. The real entrance is in this little area, and you step right into the Farmers Trading Hall. There are 7 farmers here to trade with, and most of them buy pumpkins and melons. There is an automatic pumpkin and melon farm buried in the ground beneath the Farmers Guild, and the items are delivered to this unloading station, sucked out of the cart by this hopper, and then pushed up this observer-powered dropper tower directly into the bottom chest inside the trading hall. This allows me to take pumpkins and melon slices out of this chest, combine the slices on the crafting table, and then sell them to the farmers for stacks upon stacks of emeralds. The Farmers Guild has generated so many emeralds that I can basically buy anything I want from any of the other guilds, regardless of price, and I've repaired my equipment here numerous times. All you have to do is hold an item in each hand and sell some pumpkins and boom, repaired. Up this spiral staircase is the second level where I decided to build a large banquet hall. I like to imagine the farmers would meet here regularly to discuss the Farm Guild business and revenues and to eat all the food that they farm. This little area over here is a kind of food prep area. I probably should have added a fireplace and a little kitchen here, but I just never got around to it. I'll probably make that change in the tutorial video that I put up later. Up this ladder is the private club. This is a nice little area for members only to meet and discuss farm business, and so I made it look like you'd expect a private club to look, with tables here and there and a fireplace to make it nice and cozy. A small library there. Back here we've got a bunch of storage, and I've been using this to store emeralds and emerald blocks generated by sales of pumpkins and melons downstairs. See, like I said, I have no shortage of money to spend. The next guild hall that I built is the Knowledge Guild. This is a librarian trading hall. In the design, I wanted to build it to look like a library, but keeping in mind that the books in Minecraft are mainly used in enchanting or magic, really, I wanted to make this place look a bit extraordinary. That's why I chose to add a glass dome to the rooftop. These windows are made from light gray stained glass with a special texture that I created for my texture pack. Just inside, we have a chest full of paper and books to trade with the librarians and sell to them in order to get emeralds. There's also some extra library books that I've created accidentally, and maybe I can use these later. Some of them, of course, I soul speed 3. I brought these back from the nether. This chest contains sugarcane, which is pumped up here into this chest by a dropper column, just like you saw back at the Farmers Guild. And there's a sugarcane farm underground here. There it goes. See, we're getting more sugarcane now. Because paper is made from sugarcane, it makes sense to me that librarians in Minecraft will be interested in having a constant supply of sugarcane in order to make books. There are also 2 levels of librarians that all want to sell unique enchanting books, providing me with almost any enchantment I want instantly. My favorite feature of this build is the spiral staircase between floors, with bookshelves as the central column going all the way up. I love the view from the 2nd level, but I have to admit, this dome looks terrible without Optifine. The tower that the spiral staircase resides in leads up to a ladder to a small storage room. I've taken to storing items I had to buy from librarians in order to trade them up to their master levels, as well as overflow from the sugarcane farm. The video where I built the Knowledge Guild is the most popular video of the entire series, and I will definitely build up a block-by-block tutorial for it in the near future, so check back on my channel. Just down this little road here, you can see the Masons Guild off in the distance, the 4th Guild of Taiga Town. We'll head over there in a little bit, but first, let's explore the Blacksmiths Guild. The downstairs level is set up like a blacksmith's workshop with forges and anvils and cauldrons for shaping and heating tools, weapons, and armor, and then cooling them off here. Hanging on this post is my first diamond sword. I decided to make and enchant a new sword when I found out that I wouldn't be able to add Sweeping Edge 3 to this one. In the back here, I wanted to build a nice little workshop. I put these suits of armor here as if they're being worked on, and there's more invisible armor stands here that allow me to move the boots or the helmet off of the armor and off to the side as if it's currently being like shaped or built. In these cabinets up here, I've stored a whole bunch of swords and tools and armor and shields over here, yep, and a whole bunch of other items that I had to buy in order to trade with the blacksmiths upstairs. Did you hear that? It's such like a happy accident that the smiths upstairs make smithing sound effects every once in a while, which you can hear while you're down here in the workshop. It's pretty magical, actually. Up this spiral stairs lies the trading hall with weaponsmiths and armorers and toolsmiths. 3 of each. I can buy any kind of diamond equipment I want and then grind off the enchantments if I want something else. The Blacksmiths Guild made mining for diamonds obsolete in my world for a while, and I strongly recommend you add a Smith's Trading Hall to your own single-player survival world. This little road between the Knowledge Guild and the Farmers Guild leads out of town and to the northwest, and there's 2 more little builds tucked away in this area. This is the Beekeeper's house, which I built in episode 12. I got the idea for this from a screenshot of an apiary or beehive farm from another video game. My concept here is that the bees grown here have nested up in the roof and in the walls and have converted sections of the wood to honeycomb. I really like how this turned out. This is a vat of honey in the ground, or it's supposed to look that way anyway, and there's a shovel for stirring it, since shovels are really just big spoons anyway. There's another invisible armor stand here holding this shovel, just like this, but I need to experiment with it more to figure out how to make it like lean up against the side of the vat there. We have a hive here at the entrance and flowers, which help to indicate that bees are grown here. And inside is another active hive with a bee that comes out every once in a while. He pollinates these flowers and then he pops back in. I've placed a lead here by the door just in case the bee escapes and I have to go pull him back in here. In the cabinets above this little workshop area, I'm storing all the honeycomb generated by the bee farm in the basement below, and over here I'm storing the honey blocks. The beekeeper has a cute little kitchen and writing area for jotting his notes about bee farming and honey gathering, I suppose. And then up this ladder is a bedroom with bee-themed carpet and more storage. Whenever I'm stuck on this side of town at night, I sleep here. To get to the basement, you go around the side of the house to the cellar stairs. Down here we have 3 beehives being automatically farmed for both honey and honeycomb. Every time all these hives get full of honey, the redstone fires the dispensers above the hives, and they randomly use either bottles or shears on the hives. The honey bottles and honeycomb are gathered in this double chest over here, and it's already filled up multiple times, and I've had to empty it and store the honey items upstairs. Next to the beekeeper's house is the mine entrance. I decided late in the series that I wanted to mine for more diamonds, redstone, and coal, so I dug this little cave into the mountain and built this rickety looking mine entrance with cobwebs and everything. I wanted to give the impression that this mine was here from the beginning and is the source of Taiga Town's riches, even though it really wasn't. Inside, I've built an automatic sorting system. These chests sort and contain all the blocks I've mined from below, and this is now my main storage for stone and cobble and andy and diorite, granite, gravel, and dirt. Over here I built a crafting area into the wall complete with furnaces and blast furnaces to smelt ores taken out of the ground. And in these barrels I store the extra bits I've crafted from the stones that I store here, such as slabs and stairs. These mines are haunted. You can hear the moaning of zombies and growling in the background, and that's because there's actually probably caves like all around this area. Here is the drop chute to the mine, which is all the way down to Y8. There's a single block of water right here that negates falling damage. After branch mining, I bring my full inventory back over here and dump everything into this chest, which automatically pumps the items back up into the item sorting system up on the surface. That way I can go back to mining. I have another crafting area here, but in these barrels I keep my mining tools that I use specifically for these mines, and to avoid wear and tear on my netherite gear and coal for all these furnaces. Down these stairs are my branch mine, and I've dug out several branches in both directions from Y6 up to Y12, which are the levels you're most likely to find diamonds in until Minecraft 1.17 comes out. These branches on the east side all connect to the original mine that I dug at the start of my world. I still dig in this mine occasionally, mainly just to get diamonds, but I kept filling up on the ores that I didn't really need and didn't really want to waste storage space on. So I started using them to decorate the floor down the center aisle. I've taken huge amounts of dirt and gravel out of here from my projects on the surface. I stopped digging this mine only when I ran into a large cave up above and a lava pool up there. I think you just see you can see some sparks jumping out of the lava pool that's up there. Mining to the west is a bit hampered as well due to lava lakes underground, including this large blank wall section here where I decided it wasn't even safe to try mining. To get back up to the surface, we have a water column elevator. As you can see, I created a path out of Taiga Town headed northwest, which still needs texturing and some work. This road leads past a mega spruce tree I planted and grew myself. As you can see, the road eventually arrives at this little area where I erected a campsite. I was foresting dark oak from here, but as you can see over here, there is a ravine down in this area, and down here is a mine shaft. I've explored quite a bit of this mine shaft, and I got most of my Minecraft rails from here. South of the main marketplace is this little stretch of land along the river. The land here was already very steep, so I added this retaining wall along the river to help maximize space available for building on. But I wound up with this extra space, and I decided to turn it into a little riverside park with a bench and a safety rail, I suppose you'd say, and a little vendor cart that sells fishing rods, enchanted fishing rods with unbreaking 2 for 16 emeralds apiece. That way people can enjoy the beautiful view of the river winding its way through the west over here, and the sunsets are quite nice here too. This is the Masons Guild, the 4th guild in town and the last villager trading hall I built in this series. This design was inspired by a real Masonic temple in London, which I also found pictures of on Google. I really should do something better with the street here at the entrance, but I haven't had the time or really thought of anything. If you have any ideas, please post in the comments. Inside, there is a really ornate lobby with this sun symbol on the ground in glazed terracotta directly beneath an opening to the sky. I felt that was somehow appropriate since Masons do seem to be fascinated with symbology. The same design is on the wall above, set into cyan terracotta, all bought from a Mason on the upper level. Back here we have 2 levels of Masons. Each of them are selling 2 types of terracotta. Since glazed terracottas can be smelted, I've focused on creating villagers that traded every kind of solid color of terracotta, and some of them even trade 2 solid colors. Up here I keep coal for the furnaces below, and all the clay that I've dug out of local riverbeds and lakes, and the regular terracotta that I've smelted from it. Next to the Masons Guild we have the Medieval Inn and Tavern. This was originally planned to go where the flower shop is, but I'm glad I moved it over here because I managed to design a much better build. These brown window panes are using a custom texture I created by copying the white stained glass pane and drawing brown beveled frames over them in Photoshop. But this is my brown stained glass in my texture pack. The street entrance takes you directly into the tavern on the ground floor with a jukebox right by the door to play music. And what few records I've collected are kept behind the bar. I used a bunch of brewing stands to make bottles visible behind the bar so that it would look like there are bottles to pour. This door goes out to the back deck, and these steps take you down to the beach, and you can sunbathe on either these towels or on these beds as lounge chairs. I like to sleep here too sometimes. It's really peaceful. Back inside at the far end of the bar, you will find the check-in counter for the inn upstairs. I've used this lectern for the registry, and actually, oh, I thought I filled this out with numbers. Anyway, there's a quill here to use to sign guests in. Unfortunately, the item frame becomes visible again if you pop the quill out, so don't do that. Up the spiral stairs to the second floor, I've put a handy map right here so that tourists can find their way around Taiga Town. This is a private party room that I imagine groups could rent. The inside is questionably decorated, but conceivably this equipment could be used to brew up some great drinks for a private party here. There are 4 guest rooms on the second floor, each with its own color theme: red, yellow, green, and light blue. The third floor of the inn is decorated like an attic with tons of extra storage that I'm not even using. But note that it's divided in such a way that it could be used by each of the guests in the 4 rooms below. And now we come to the final build of Taiga Town, my nether portal. I decided that I wanted my portal to be removed and placed on this hill, and that walling off the area would help contain any zombie piglins that spawn from the portal. So I textured and built the surrounding area to resemble a graveyard, including an open grave over here and nether blocks around the portal, as if the ground around it has become like scorched or burned or cursed or ruined. I added some blocks, some stone blocks to the exterior of the portal to spruce it up. I did my best on the backside here to simulate vertical slabs by placing stairs upside down and right side up together. My nether portal on the nether side is in a crimson forest biome, which may be looking a bit darker than usual due to the shaders, but I'm going to proceed anyway. The scaffold erected in this little niche here lets you climb all the way up to the nether roof, and I use this to get up to the top bedrock block and ender pearl through. Then I headed southeast and built a gold farm and piglet bartering farm on top of the nether roof, which we'll take a look at later. The only builds I did in the nether are my strider pens, and to see those we have to go back past the nether portal and south. I created this little natural stair down, and I typically run along this path to get to the fortress, which is the nearest fortress is over that way. But right here is the strider stable I built. The hill here was rather steep, so I carved this natural stairway down to the lava lake's surface. I styled the pen with crimson wood to match the biome, and blackstone. I built this pen on this side of the lake so that I could cross over the lava to the far side. That was all before I defeated the Ender Dragon. So now it's just easier to fly across with Elytra. After that episode, I built another pen on this side of the lava so that I could park my Strider and keep him at the shore and ready to ride, but since we're in a nether waste and out of the Crimson Forest, I built it out of nether brick materials instead. Because this small lake is actually fully enclosed in this area, I built another Strider pen to the northwest on the shore of another disconnected lava lake. Here it is, exact same design. Since we're still in the Crimson Forest, when we ride this Strider north across the lava lake, and I'm going to fly there just to save time, we come to this warped forest. This is where I get my bluish warped wood, and I built this Strider pen using the warped wood instead of the crimson wood, since we're in a different biome. That's really all I built inside my nether, and to get to my gold farm, we have to fly southeast of Taiga Town and over this mountain range over here. Just past the mountain range is yet another birch forest where you find yet another nether portal. I added a little path to the portal and a little dock for me to row over here in a boat, but since getting my Elytra, it's easier to fly, of course. Stepping out onto the nether roof, you can see right away my piglin bartering farm and my gold farm right behind it. Both are original designs by Nimbon, of course, and if you're interested, I could provide links to his tutorials on these, but I already provided those links in previous videos of my series. To get these piglins onto the nether rooftop, I built a spawning platform over here where the Crimson Forest biome starts. Notice how the atmosphere just changed a little bit. We went from nether waste to Crimson Forest. Really all I did was build a 24 by 24 platform with carpets every 2 spaces to prevent hoglins and ghasts from spawning. The episode where I did this was rather popular, so I'll likely do a more in-depth tutorial soon here on my channel. If we fly from the Gold Farm portal directly to the east, we'll fly over the birch forest and a swamp a little to the right of these mountains into a frozen ocean. On the far side of this, we should arrive at a little mountain right here, and this is the site of our end portal. I left this little boat here a long time ago. It helps me identify where to land. To get to the portal, you currently have to swim down to the stronghold here, and luckily there is an open doorway right next to the portal room. So you can see part of my problem here is that every time I come here, there's some kind of monster. So to finish up this series, I'm going to transform this portal chamber into a giant ice pit. I'd like to make it easier to identify the portal's location, both from the surface and when you're flying over. And I'd like to cut out having to swim through the water to get there. So now we're going to do a quick time lapse where I take down this iceberg and invert it basically, and then take out the water with sand, leaving a big ice pit down to the end portal. That way you can just fly here and down into the portal and go directly to the end whenever you want to. Welcome back, guys. Mission accomplished, I think. So there's a little bit more to do that I could probably do, between episodes. This area over here, as you can see, I need to take the glacier down some more. My hope is that this little patch of regular ice here will quit forming once I've taken this whole layer down. But for now, I've just sort of demarcated where it will go down later. That way I can come back and finish this up. And then I want to fly back up here, kind of level off and sort of come back in at the level just so that we sort of get the good impression. So yeah, this is much more noticeable from the air. And then we can just go straight down here basically and straight into our end portal if we want. I also put a nether portal here. It just so happens that that nether portal comes out in the nether right near the fortress. So I can go hunting for wither skeleton skulls and then come right back here, go over to the end and do an easy wither defeat to get myself some nether stars or whatever it is that they drop in order to get some beacons. So yeah, this I planted this chorus fruit plant here. You probably saw me planting a lot of chorus fruit during the time lapse. I used it in order to make these purple blocks, which are climbing up the side here. I wanted to give the impression whatever it is that powers this portal is basically spreading out and up the sides of the ice in all directions. And I think it looks pretty good. My chorus plant is growing even as I'm talking. That's pretty cool. And then I just went around and kind of random textured the area with end rods and more purple just to give it more of a connection. I really like the purple and the ice together. I think it's kind of a cool combination. Very cool. And yeah, I think it's very easy to get in and out of here. That's it for our world tour of all my builds in this 1.16 survivor world. And that's all for Season 2 of dudieboy Plays Minecraft. I've really enjoyed creating this series, and I've enjoyed your reactions to my builds. I'm going to take a little time off, and I'm going to focus on Minecraft tutorial videos and growing my channel for a while. I may use this world to do streams, and I may do another Let's Play series again in the future, but time will tell. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this look back at this series as well as my end portal conversion. And if you did, please do me a huge favor and click the like button and help me show the video to more people on YouTube. I'm dudieboy. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you'd like to catch my next Minecraft video, and have a fantastic day.